Welcome to this edition of Winning with Warchild, getting your minds right. I originally intended to create a new basic strategy video on a different map after my Taking the Hill on Mines production. However, several people have been asking me a lot of follow-up questions about the hill strategy, as well as about my general gameplay, so I felt the need to revisit the Mines map with a bit more in-depth analysis. Which is fine by me because I absolutely love Mines, for the reason that it epitomizes the true essence of Blitz. A small, action-packed map designed to engage the enemy almost immediately with a flurry of shells. Mines comes up a lot in my rotation at all tiers, and so I think it is really important that you learn to master it. And after watching this video, you should be there.
Because you're going to get your mind right. And I mean right.
And that was a little play on words from Cool Hand Luke, but it fits nicely with the title of my current video, Getting Your Minds Right. Now let's take a look at this beautiful map so we can get an overview of what's about to happen. This is the overview map of Mines with the cap circle located in the middle and the hill just above it. By coincidence, I will begin from the left side starting zone, positioned on the purple star. I chose the color purple to represent Unicum status. However, I would say that on my best day, I would be more of a mauve color. In this video, I will be following the purple path all the way up to the white dot located up on the hill. And let's get started. Hold on now. What are we doing here? More importantly, what are you doing here? Well, let me tell you what you should be doing. To start off every game, you need to analyze the map and the list of tanks that both teams have. Based on that analysis, you then need to quickly strategize your plan of attack. Once your strategy is set, you then need to instruct your teammates on that plan. And hopefully after all that, the game begins and you get to implement your strategy. With this in mind, let us begin. Here I am in my favorite tank, my IS-3 Defender, and we are in a Tier 8 match with just a pinch of Tier 7 added for flavor. Along with our 3 tank destroyers, we have 2 solid heavy tanks, and we have 2 fast tanks as well, which is good because there are a few maps that are as dependent upon fast tanks as much as Mines. I see that the other team has 3 fast tanks, so we will need to deal with them accordingly. With my quick analysis complete, I still believe in the basic strategy, so I'll be typing Take the Hill and shall await feedback, hopefully from one of my fast tanks. Ah yes, my top tier fast tank answers the call, so I know we're in business. And we're off to the races. I'm not gonna lie to you, I get pretty excited when I see the team charging the hill while the lead tank is punching the attack button, calling everyone's attention to the center of the map. However, the minimap tells me that people are spreading out all over the place, so I have to take a look for myself. I right-click my mouse because it locks my gun pointed forward so I can get a free look behind without costing me turret time if we run into targets ahead. And I am expecting to receive those hors d'oeuvres any second now. As our horde approaches the hill, I try to take an angle for a quick shot on a fast mover, but I'm left wondering, where the heck are their fast tanks? Somebody's not watching my videos. I want to stop right here and mention that there are other passageways up to the hill that certain fast tanks can climb on both sides of this fortress. They're slightly more advanced than the coming up through the front door here, so I'm not going to talk about them in this video. But you do need to know that there are 2 back doors to keep in mind. And without colliding with the other team's fast tanks here at the front, I briefly wonder if we are the ones who are late to the party. Back to our ascent. Once I get to the mouth of the horseshoe, I set up in a defensive position on the white dot and take aim on the targets that get identified. I see that our Tier 7 tank destroyer did the smart thing and went to the lighthouse to snipe. Why was it smart, you ask? Several reasons. 1, he's a Tier 7 in a Tier 8 match and needs to protect himself from the clash of titans that is supposed to happen up at the hill. The lighthouse is the perfect spot to stay protected, yet support the mediums and heavies in the middle. Number 2, it is also a good spot to have a 1 versus 1 battle with the enemy's TD or single tank, even if it's a higher tier tank, because our little fella can ask for help from the middle tanks if he gets in a jam and has to back up. It's a great strategy. However, you will note, I end up seeing not 1, not 2, but 3 enemy tanks storming his gate. I want to try to help my little buddy Hardmus over there, so I choose to take out the SP-1C rather than the larger tank behind it. Because SP-1Cs are nasty, and also because I see that he's already been shot by our TD, so I want to help focus fire so the 2 of us can take him out. but also because, if you recall what I said earlier about certain tanks can take different paths to the hill, SP-1Cs are one of the few tanks that have the key to the back doors and can come up behind me when I'm not looking, and that we just cannot have. Personally, I only allow licensed physicians to get back there. This next segment has to do with gun depression. Gun depression is how far down your gun can point, and it's measured by degrees. Russian tanks typically have poor gun depression, which requires me to go out a little further than I'd like, and I end up paying the price for it. While I'm waiting for my gun to reload, I get sniped by one of the 3 tanks located over at the lighthouse. I know that there are 3 tanks over there because not only did I see them, but our TD who went over there and died has stayed in the game to keep us all apprised of what's happening. Hardmus went over there with a game plan that didn't work out, but rather than check out, he speaks from the grave as our guardian angel. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of staying in the game and assisting your teammates. I personally get very focused on the task in front of me and need every bit of help I can get as the game progresses. Heck, even in my first video I got so wrapped up in what I was doing, I forgot that I had a platoon mate. Oops. And now back to the game. I've mentioned more than once that cap control is important in Blitz. Here, this IS-3 has to leave his cover and cross open ground to try and stop the clock. That pressure forces him to expose his meaty parts, which I am more than happy to take a bite out of. Delicious. As I try to reassess the field, I notice that the enemy's VK is still over at the lighthouse sniping, so I want to give him something to think about and force him back behind his cover. After that shot, I have a long reload, but I see that we have the opportunity to cap the base soon, so I try to run over and intercept this rapidly approaching T-44 and run interference for our IS-6. However, this maneuver turns out to be an epic fail, and I have to try to back out of the situation. With my teammates attacking the T-44 en masse, I focus my attention on the incoming Panther to try and stop him from joining the party. My second shot on the Panther doesn't penetrate, so I immediately switch to heat. However, I forget to switch back to APCR when I see that our team is having trouble with the T-44 still, and I end up giving him a bit of overkill. But hey, getting the job done is priority 1. This pesky Panther just won't go away, and he seems to know what he's doing since he's turned his adrenaline on and is aiming at my junk, also known as my lower glacis. Even though I'm on my long reload again, I charge him in order to protect my soft parts, plus I can do some damage to him by ramming before my shot loads. Things aren't going too well for me when all of a sudden, boom! Machinator 52 comes to save the day and my bacon. Even though I have 2 shots remaining in my clip, I hit reload and pause right where I am. I do this for several reasons. First, I have no idea where the last 2 enemy tanks are located. However, because of my melee with the Panther, they both know exactly where I am, and this sloped area of the hill acts as protection. Secondly, I need to wait a little bit to allow my camo enough time to reset and make me invisible so I can be free to move back to the center undetected. Luckily, our IS-6 spots both tanks just down the other side of the hill, and so I try to position myself so that only the VK can get a shot on me, and I use the elevation of the hill itself to protect my lower glacis. The VK, however, does not utilize the cover appropriately, and so my first shot finds pay dirt in his lower parts. He figures it out pretty quickly, and so I'm left with having to shoot just to the right of his gun mantlet, a much smaller target. I think that second shot stunned him, or he sees a butterfly or something, because he freezes in place long enough for me to finish the job. My long reload ensues, and so I back over these 2 dead tanks for cover. Now I'm about to show you what 2 Russian IS tanks can do to an American TD. Yeah, baby. I'm starting to feel really good about myself and our situation when all of a sudden my teammate tells me he's out of ammo. Say what? What you talking about, Willis? I think I'm still in a little bit of shock as I venture out from behind this corpse, but I'm quickly brought back to life when the enemy tank drops my health down to 33 hit points. Ouch. Now a strong wind can blow me over, and so I need to put something big between me and that TD. How about this rock over here? Now that I'm the only shot at winning this since the Machinator is out of cells, I must play extra cautious to finish out the game, and so my peeks need to be made more wisely or I'll get boomed. Luckily, a Prototype 28 is slower than molasses, or he would have already tried to come up behind the rock and kill me. It is important to note that the Machinator isn't hiding in the cap and is giving their TD a reason to point at him rather than at me. I don't know if the Machinator is doing the Macarena or what, but whatever it is, he has the full attention of the enemy, and that allows me the opportunity to shoot his lower tracks. Although I do some damage with that shot, it wasn't enough, so I'll have to be more precise with my final shell before the next long reload, which I like to call the reload of death. The Machinator resumes his pole dance in the cap circle, and that enables me to take one last bite from the meatiest rib on this prototype. Whew! That was a tough one. I always try to give my opponents the respect they deserve with a good game after the match. Even if they don't deserve it because they either played poorly or they were verbally immature during the game, I think it's appropriate to not let rotten apples spoil the bunch and give credit where credit is due. Ooh, look! Mastery badge. Sweet! Well, folks, that's it for this edition of Winning with Warchild. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to let me know either in-game, on the Blitz forums, or on this YouTube channel. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video and to support my efforts to educate others. I wish you all happy tanking!